Cup with myself, Josh, and my colleague G.
Hi, sports fans.
So, G, pretty exciting stage that finished up the Saint-Gervais side of Mont Blanc. We said that it was going to be a break that's going to get away.
Yep.
And it was, a big fight to get into it. As we've seen pretty much every day when any breaks form, to be honest.
Yeah.
Pretty up and down stage. We thought someone from the break should win, and it turned out to be Wolfi. So that's another win for Bahrain. Unfortunately, one of our picks in Fred Wright, who we thought would be picking up a stage win at some stage this tour, still hasn't picked up one. So the wrong rider from our perspective from Bahrain got
possibly
the win. But fantastic win for all Poles. And so, what did you think of the stage?
Well, that breakaway nearly wasn't, was it? I mean, there were a lot of big names. Obviously, Mads Pedersen trying to set up Ciccone to go up the road. Paulus is up for it. Alaphilippe was up for it, and I think it was death by 1,000 cuts.
Yes, it was.
Eventually, the peloton didn't get to decide what went away. It was exhausting trying to keep the peloton together.
Yeah, and then as you said as well, with regards to Izagirre's stage the other day, it's almost like with Poles, it was that he had the freshest legs, and that he kept himself there and thereabouts, not working too much or too hard, trying to be clever, and then the freshest legs tell.
Yeah, it's almost the name that you don't say all day is the one that's the freshest. He didn't put any in. He didn't put in any spiky attacks. He didn't go off the front. He just did his turns in the bunch, and the one attack he made was the decisive one. And what a guy to make an attack on and it be decisive. Wout van Aert is not a man you attack.
Yeah.
He's almost
flew past it.
Like he was standing still.
Yeah, exactly.
But Wout's been doing a lot of work for his team.
Yeah.
And I think the Belgian fans think that the Jumbo are gutting Wout van Aert, robbing him of his prime years at the moment. But he's there to do a job, and as nice as it is to get stage wins for the team, that's not what he's there for this year.
Well, and he still came away with second, another podium, picking up loads of points for people in their fantasy league.
Yeah.
So there'll be a lot of fantasy league people happy.
Yeah.
Yeah, and with regards to the GC battle, nothing to pick between Tadej and Jonas. And whilst with regards to Jai, unfortunately he's slipping further back now. So Adam Yates has creeped back up into the conversation. So you've got Rodriguez coming third overall, then only 19 seconds back, Adam Yates, and then about 2 minutes further back is Jai Hindley. What do you make of Jai seemingly collapse now as well?
Well, he will have had a couple of bad nights' sleep after touching the ground a few times. He was clearly up for it. Yeah. For a team like Bora to switch from their kind of traditional lead-out train kind of setup.
Yeah, and stage wins.
Yeah, to a very respectable GC competitor in this tour is impressive. And I think Jai's got, he's young, he's got a lot of a career ahead of him.
He still does.
And he is a Grand Tour winner in his own right as well.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He'll get there. I think just at the moment, Pogačar and Vingegaard have proved they're on another level.
You
can't separate them, but they are putting ground between them and everyone else.
Yeah, absolutely. And then obviously the big talking point, unfortunately, from Sundays was the big get down. Someone who looked like he would be massively affected, Sepp Kuss, but he got back up and rode brilliantly the rest of the stage. What did you make of that situation?
It's an age-old debate. It's the same as the motos the other day. The fans, they have to be there. It is the highest attended sporting event in the world, the Tour de France. Without the fans, it's not the same event.
Yeah.
But, it's that selfie culture, that obsession with pointing the camera at the race, not spectating, not being there for the atmosphere. We saw it the other year with Omi Opie, the cardboard sign, the fan just looking the wrong way. I think both Tadej and Vingegaard have said, keep your eyes on the race.
Yeah, exactly.
By all means, hold a GoPro or something, but make sure it's pointed down the road where you're looking. And if you get the footage, you get the footage. But to turn your back on a peloton that's coming at speed is just dumb.
Absolutely. Yeah, people need to be much more self-aware, especially when you're going to be right next to the riders, and you are. So then, obviously, if you're going to make any sudden adjustments and movements like that person did, then it's going to cause a ricochet across the peloton at best, because best case scenario is that that rider swerves out of the way and misses you, but then as we know from racing ourselves, it's a domino effect as well.
The three riders back, you can't see what the rider in front of you is swerved for.
Exactly.
And the reaction gets slower and slower the further back you go.
And so you're always going to have unfortunately, these ramifications. So, yeah, to any spectators out there, as much as it is brilliant to be involved in races like the Tour, to go and watch them, just be more self-aware and more careful.
Eyes on the race. That's what you're there to see. Enjoy it.
Yeah. So getting on to today's time trial, the only one of the Tour. Pretty savage one, like 24 kilometres. It's got a second cat climb in it and an uncategorised climb very near the beginning. So, G, what do you make of today's stage, being an old time trialist yourself?
It's going to be a quick one. The descents aren't particularly technical, so you'll see someone like Vingegaard, like Sepp Kuss, they're going to go down like a rocket. The climbs are short and stabby, which suits Pogačar. So it's an interesting balance of what suits Vingegaard versus what suits Pogačar.
Yeah.
It's
and it finishes uphill as well.
Yeah.
As in the total elevation from the start point is around 500 meters.
Yeah.
Above sea level, finishes around 900 meters above sea level.
Yeah, prevailing uphill, but that middle section is flat to rolling. So
correct.
That final climb, that 10%. 2 kilometres kind of just off the start is going to be a tough one. It's going to be telling. I think you'll see some legs crack there.
Do you think anyone's going to switch bikes at all? Because obviously you've got the drag after that second cat climb, whereas a few percent, for the next few kilometres all the way to the finish.
I think maybe the GC riders might let one of their lieutenants make that mistake and see if it is a viable strategy. I think anyone on GC, particularly the top 10, are going to have their strategy nailed on already. But maybe someone will give it a chance, and if it shows to be quicker, there might be some last-minute decisions made.
Yeah, and obviously we saw in the Giro that decision got made by a lot of the riders, certainly the GC contenders, as we saw.
Yeah.
Fortunately, it seemed to work. Maybe.
Barring mechanicals, yeah.
But this is it. It's just like then you run the risk of like a slow change and all this kind of stuff, don't you? Is the risk unwarranted for only a few kilometres at 10%? So
in this case, no. I think that 10% is the worst, and it is 2 kilometres of. And then after that, TT bike comes back into its own.
Yeah.
There's a section of 1% or 2% immediately after that as well, which is more than enough to get back up to speed.
Yeah. So you think you would, with your old tester header on, just deal with it and wouldn't switch? Yeah.
I mean, I'm an old school and I love the TT bike. If I get a chance to ride one nowadays, I'm staying on it for as long as possible.
So to that end, we reckon it's going to be about half an hour worth of effort.
Yeah.
Maybe slightly less. Who do you think's going to be coming away with today's win, or what sort of order do you think?
We were discussing this beforehand. This time trial has this Tour de France has the lowest number of time trialing kilometres of any Tour de France in the last 10 years or so.
Yeah.
So no teams have really bought any time trial specialists. We're missing guys like Simon Bissiger, like Ganna.
Yeah.
So the best of the rest is kind of Wout van Aert.
Yes.
So I think he may come away with a stage victory, but it'll be similar to last year's Tour where, Vingegaard decided to award that time trial win to Wout van Aert by backing off the final climb after he had a bit of a shaky moment. But yeah, I think maybe the time gap's going to be too close to be allowed the victory this time. It will be an outright win.
Well, this is it. We've still got another few stages left, and where Tadej or Jonas could gain time. There's only 10 seconds separating them.
Yeah.
Which is absolutely nothing. So, there can't be any of this gifting really, unless they're absolutely storming it and someone has a real, one of those two has a real issue.
Yeah.
Because, the risk is too great.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Later on in the tour. So, I agree. Vogt is certainly a contender. What about Jonas and Tadej? Who do you think is going to win out of them two? And what do you see in terms of the time gaps? It's
too tight to call. I think the final climb suits Pogačar better. That varying gradient suits him better. So I think Pogačar by no more than 5-6 seconds.
Very tight.
Yeah. You?
Yeah, I would agree. I think Tadej to take a few seconds out of Jonas, and judging by, as long as he had a great recovery on yesterday, because of how well he rode on Sunday, Wout van Aert.
Yeah.
I would have him down as my favourite to win. Yeah.
I think, interestingly, I think the big loser today could be Adam Yates. I mean,
he's not a renowned time trialist.
He's not, and all the people around him. He's only 17 seconds off the podium, but the guy in front of him is Ineos, and they're famously a techie team that loves time trialing.
Yeah.
I think we're going to see him lose upwards of 20 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Absolutely. And always there's going to be one or two shocking results in terms of one or two riders do exceptionally well.
Yeah.
And then one or two riders, certainly from like the top 10 GC, do absolutely terrible for whatever reason. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see. The boys are going to go hell for leather, and it should make for a fantastic time trial stage. Right then, guys. Until next time. Thanks very much for joining us. Bye.
Thanks. Bye.